What's up? It's Joshua Paul Hudson, some title, blah, 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 whatever. Right? And I saw this post. Probably was an AI post because they're running so much AI. Well, I don't know. It was directed at me because it's AI running my whole shit. So it's got to be directed at me. It was like, what is this about? Why are you talking about that? You say the same thing every day. I'll break down the Cliff Notes version. I'm not going to go all the way back to when I first went to prison. God comes to me in the dreams, blah, blah, blah. You have to go find that version. Right? But let's fast forward. I got put into prison in 2014 on October 22nd, right? Federal prison. I got arrested on the 21st. It doesn't. It's 22nd. Feast day of St. John Paul II, Pope St. John Paul II, right? I got out of prison on December 27th, the feast day of St. John the Evangelist. So I go to the church. Finally, I joined the church, right? I'm not going to go to that. I joined the church. I was going through RCIA in 2019, right? I turned 44. I turned 44 during going to RCIA classes and joining the Catholic Church, getting confirmed. 44. I turned 44. That's why I keep talking about this 44 number. People go, oh, 44, this birthday adds up. Yeah, so does mine. But that's not relevant to anything in the scriptures. Why 44 is relevant, and what would be relevant to me is because I turned 44 when I go through RCIA class, and I get confirmed at 44. Jesus turns 33 when he starts his ministry. I'm not saying I'm Jesus. Like, that's the other thing. I'm Joshua. I'm the prodigal son. I'm the bad one, right? And that goes back to the thing, but like I was talking about, like I may be Lucifer. I don't know, man. There's a lot. Like the reason I'm talking about this, there's so much spiritual warfare coming at me. You guys don't even know. Like I see so much stuff, and I was thinking about it today. Like, I can read the world and all these things that are going on, and I've always assumed that God was talking to me. Maybe that's not it. Maybe I know how to do it because I wrote the language. That's why I can pick it out so easily and I see it because I wrote it. All right, but I mean, we can debate that whether I'm Lucifer or not. But it says in Luke, Jesus says, he says, I'm the morning star. And that always caught me. I'm like, why does he say I'm the morning star? Because the morning star. Lucifer, he said, I'm the morning star. I've come to rain fire on whatever. And then it's in Job, right? And it's in Revelations 22:16. It talks about the morning star. And it's also in Revelations 2, right? It says those who endure will be given the morning star, right? Well, how's that relevant? Because it's 44. No, here's why it's relevant. Because also when he's talking to the churches, I think God's directly talking to me, right? Because I'm born in 74. Like, what are the numbers that are important in Revelations? 7, 4, 24, 144 is in there once. But 7, 4, 24, and 4. Well, my numerological whole birthday is at 4, right? 144 is, what is it? Sometimes something. It's 37. I don't even know. See, I don't have this lined out, but I just saw some post. But it's like what is it? 37 times 37? No, 37 times 37 is 74. My birthday. I don't know. It's not important. But anyway, it's a number that's important to me. Jesus is born on 12/25, right? 12 plus 25 is 37. I'm born on November 26. 11 plus 26 is 37, right? His month is one after mine, but my day is one after his, right? It's relevant. They equate to each other. All these things equate to each other. Like, so it also says in Revelations, right? Revelations 3:7, to the angel of the church of Philadelphia, right? to the angel of the church of, that's not in Asia Minor. Why would you prophesize about something where you're at right now? It's just like in Zechariah when they go, oh, that Joshua is the king at that time. Why would you be prophesying about something that's in that period of time right there? It's never, they never do that. It's always like thousands of years ahead, right? And it's the last book of the Talmud. Well, 1126, when I'm born, is the day the Jewish people closed the Talmud. I'm born on that day. In fact, in the year that I was born in 74, that was the day before Advent. My first year on this earth was the first day of the church calendar. God's like perfect. I mean, or Satan did it. I don't know. But that's the first day I was like, my first day on is the beginning of Advent, right? What is Advent? It's about Jesus and the second coming of Jesus, right? And in Zechariah, Joshua, that's also in Joshua 3:7. Revelations 3:7. I'm a Sagittarius, born on the tail end of Scorpio. 11 plus 26. 37. Scorpio, I'm born on the tail end of Scorpio. It's an astrological symbol. He has a bow. He's given a crown. Later in the chapter, they get stung with the scorpion tails, right? It's what it's referring to. I'm not going to get into the whole part of that. But it also says in there, well, here's another part of it, right? I don't know which verse it is, but it talks about, I will make you a pillar, and you'll be a pillar in the house, and I will make you a pillar, blah, blah, blah. Well, who carries around a pillar? Uriel, the archangel, carries around a pillar, right? Uriel is always, he has a bow. He's a fire sword, but he has a bow. He's represented by a man's face. And when the four beasts, the one with the man's face, that's Uriel, right? Because Uriel's my archangel. They all are, but and so what I can take this to Jeremiah 5:6. Jeremiah 5:6. A lamb will enter into the forest and come out a lion, right? Jesus, the lamb, the sacrifice, scapegoat, released into the forest, slave, Lion of Judah comes out. The wolf was whatever the wolf does. Well, that's referring to the tribe of Benjamin, which is actually where the first king of Jerusalem was from. Tribe of Benjamin, Benjamites. My great-great-great-grandmother is Mary Magdalene, who wasn't a whore. She was a Benjamite queen, right? It's my grandfather, my great-grandfather, named one of his daughters Magdalene. Why would you do that? Unless, right? Unless it was a family name, right? My So there's that, but so Paul's also, he's also a Benjamin. But the thing about the tribe of Benjamin is, what are they represented by? The Sagittarius, represented by the Sagittarius and left-handed people. Ehud. My last name's Hudson. Joshua's son of Nun. Joshua Hudson. I'm left-handed. So that means the wolf will come out of the desert. I'm in Las Vegas right now, and it also means sin will come out of the desert and become the king of Jerusalem. And the last one, the leopard will stalk between the cities, is a reference to the dynasty of Solomon, the rebuilding of the temple, because Solomon dynasty, where it ended the last place it ended was in 1974, the year I was born, in Ethiopia, right? That's where leopards are. So that's what that's referring to, right? And you can take those three, because Uriel is the one who brings down the prophecies from God, right? You can take those three, and those three are also referencing the first three horsemen. It's my name, Joshua Paul Hudson. That's what it is. It's my name. It's the same thing, because Jesus, his name was actually Joshua. Joshua, the second horseman, is has a sword. Paul's always with the sword. So is Michael. Paul, third one. It's not actually balancing scales. They're food measuring scales. But my son's a Libra. And there's a story of the day he was born, which had nothing to do with him. It was some message to me. His last name's Hudson. He might have changed to Granado. I don't know. Joshua Paul Hudson, that's my name. It's the same thing. It matches up with Jeremiah 5:6. Joshua Paul Hudson. Right? As far as the Lucifer thing goes, you can take that and take it to Isaiah, where it says that the lamb and the goat will lie down together. The wolf and the lion will lie down together. What's that talking about? It's talking about me. It's because if I'm Lucifer, right, that's where I don't. I would believe that more than, but there's a lot going on. But who's the goat? Because you'd be looking for a Capricorn. Well, actually, Jesus is a Capricorn, right? Lucifer is a goat, right? Jesus is a lamb. So if I'm the bloodline of Christ, which I am, because on the cross, because the only person who wasn't at the Last Supper, who doesn't write about it in the Gospels, is John. Everybody goes, oh, this is kind of... No, it's because John wasn't there. Mary Magdalene was there. And the reason John wasn't there is because when Jesus symbolically turns the bread into wine at the Last Supper, when he's on the cross, and he's up there, and he says, mother, behold your son, son, behold your mother, he turns John into his bloodline. That's what he did. Because that's how God completes the cycle. Where he had a child with Mary Magdalene. I can argue that point too, because people are like, oh, but Jesus was sinless. Yeah, because he was God. Jesus wasn't sinless because he didn't commit sin. Jesus was sinless because he was God. And God can't sin against his creation. God can't sin against his creation. Jesus could walk down the street with an AK-47 and shoot people. I'm not saying he'd do that, but it still wouldn't be a sin because he's God. And God can't sin against his creation. That's the basic answer of how Jesus is sinless. Not that he might not have committed a sin that you think's a sin. Jesus was sinless because God can't sin against his creation. God can do whatever he wants with his creation. And we've established that Jesus is God. Well, since Jesus is God, he can't sin against his creation. So, I mean, even if he had a child with Mary Magdalene, and it wouldn't have been a sin. It would have been normal too. And I'm not going to get into that whole, but that's why they could have had a child. But even still, this is even better because this is what God would have done. So he brings his son out of heaven with Gabriel and has the Immaculate Conception with Mary, which is on what date? 325, right? What is that? 37, right? So that happens on that date. And he's born without sin, right? That's the only way he could be the perfect sacrifice. Well, since God has put how's God going to leave his bloodline on the earth, right? Because he says in Isaiah, I'm going to hide you in the palm of my hand like an arrow, like a Sagittarius arrow, right? When he's on the cross and he looks down and he says, mother, behold your son, son, behold your mother. He's not saying, take care of my mom. He's saying, this is now my brother. This is now my bloodline. No, that doesn't make any... Well, Jesus can do all kinds of other stuff. God can't turn John into his bloodline. God can't do that. Because John's not at the Last Supper. He doesn't write about it. Why didn't he write about it? He writes about all the other supernatural stuff. He doesn't write about it because he wasn't there. And if he was there, Jesus couldn't perform that on the cross. God couldn't have left his bloodline here on earth. So John and Mary Magdalene, they go up to Asia Minor or wherever they go up there, and they have a child. And that's the Holy Grail, not the Da Vinci Code. So that's the Holy Grail, Mary Magdalene. And I have a family named Deli Moore. I mean, it's a black skin because I'm Moorish, right? Because that's my bloodline. But that's how Jesus' bloodline is here on earth. That's how, because he did that, and it's right there in the book. It's right there. I read the book. I say that to people all the time. Have you read the book? Go read the book, man. He's right there performing that. He's right there doing that. He's right there doing that. And the only reason that I would say that the church doesn't cut that stuff out, and I don't want to get into it, is because they wanted to deny Mary Magdalene. Peter did, and I'm not saying whatever that, but that's why they're like, oh no, he was just saying take care of my mom. That's not what he was saying. That he's dying on the cross. Hey, take care of my mom, John. And that's like his last dramatic, like, other than the actual, dying, going to heaven right in front of you, and then resurrecting. That's his last dramatic miracle on earth, is leaving his bloodline, leaving the child. And John would be the second son, right? He's the second son. I'm the second. The first will be the last will be the first. There's the first Joshua and the second Joshua. I don't really consider myself Jesus, but I'm the second. I'm the second child of the second child in my family. 22. This number everybody keeps on talking. I'm the second child of the second child. 22. John was the second child. The prodigal son is the second child. I'm the prodigal son. That would make sense if, like, I actually was Satan or Lucifer somehow, but didn't know it, which I think I might be, but I'm not really for sure. But because there's still a lot of stuff coming at me, but because Lucifer would be God's prodigal son. He would. This all starts between Adam and Lucifer won't bow down to Adam. So God goes, here, I'll tell you what, you can be me. You go down here. Here's the earth. I won't interfere. Everybody will have free will. Only angels can like influence people, but they can't really do anything. And let's see what you can do. That's what this is. Let's see what you can do. Here, you be God. You be God. Go ahead. All right. So anyway, it's not. I don't remember what was I talking about. See, there's so much, man. Oh yeah. I was telling you about. Okay, so it says in Revelations, right, in like chapter 2, I don't know, it's some Smyrna, to the angel of the church of Smyrna. Some of you will be put to death, Jesus, right? Some of you will be put into prison for 10 days. And 1 day in biblical prophecy is 1 year. I was arrested in October 22nd, 2014. This year, on October 22nd, was my 10th year. I just got released. And this last year and a half, man, but I've been in prison for 10 years, man. This is when I first got in prison, when everything, the dreams and everything started coming to me. And I learned how to speak demon and angel and whatever. And I can do it. But that just ended, right? And this stuff's ramped up, and there's all this stuff going on. And the reason it's important, I keep on telling these people, first of all, nobody will listen to me, but everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knew it was going on so much, they developed a plan to fucking stop me. But it's not real, but but I see all these there's all these other signs and stuff, but there's so much lies floating around me. There's a lot of statements I don't really want to make. I mean, other than like, I said Jorge Mario Bergoglio is Magog. And I figured out how 666 works, but it could mean something else too, because I was looking at it again today. It could be about Adam, but I think it's Magog. I don't want to get into the Adam thing right now, because I think that would kind of implicate me. But so it ends, right? Well, here's the thing, right? In Isaiah 49, it says, I will take away your iniquities in 1 day, right? That's what God says. I'm going to take away your iniquity in 1 day. I'm going to take them away from you. All of them, right? So if I was Satan and somehow like put myself on here to thwart God, but I got messed up somehow and I didn't know, and then all of a sudden I go join the Catholic Church, right, and get confirmed. So if I was, I would have the power. I have the authority of Lucifer over this world, because God gave it to me. I also have the authority of Christ on this world, right? And that would be just the most poetic thing that God would ever do, right? Let Satan become his son to redeem man, to be the redemption of man. And who has more sin than Satan? Nobody. If God was going to, and one day if God was going to get rid of everybody's sin in this world, and Satan became man, he'd be the choice. If he removed his sin in one day, it would relieve all the sin, because he's the progressor of sin. And in Zechariah, when Joshua, because this just happened the other night, when Joshua's standing before Satan, right? But I don't know how God does it, but he's standing there, he's being, or actually he's just being condemned by the angel of things, the accusers, the demon, and I think that's what it says, and the angel of the Lord, right? And God says to Joshua, he says, I don't find you guilty. You're like a brand plucked out of the fire. You're a brand plucked out of the fire, right? Who's plucked out of the fire? Satan. You're a brand plucked out of the fire. And in actuality, like about 5 months ago, like when I started binding stuff, I was like, I can do that. I started doing it. And even if I didn't have the keys of Peter, which I do, but they can deny it. I didn't even realize this. I have the authority of Satan, and Satan has authority over this world, and that's probably more powerful than the keys of Peter. For real. So, if I have the authority over this world, that's why they were getting me to do all this stuff, because I have authority over this world, right? And I'm the bloodline. So I can do things in heaven, but I can do them on earth. See, God can't interfere because we have free will. He has to go through the angels, right? But if Satan becomes God's bloodline, I get confirmed. So, then God can have an instrument right here. He doesn't, right? Doesn't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. So, but it says you're like a brand plucked out of the fire. And he goes, I'm going to send my servant the branch. Everybody goes, oh, that means Jesus. No, it doesn't, because Jesus says, I am the vine. I'm sending the branch. Because you got to read Isaiah too. I'm the branch. The branch that came down. What else is that? And I'll just go into some more Zechariah. Right? And there, when Jesus goes in on Palm Sunday, right? He goes, go get the colt and the fowl, or whatever, donkey and the fowl, or the colt, right? And they always show Jesus riding in. He's riding in on one donkey, and that's it. And the other one isn't there ever. Where'd the other one go? Why do you need another one? Why does he need two to ride in? Because there's two kings. There's two separate. And it's called a colt. Even though that means a child of a donkey, but God does, stuff with words. It means a colt. Sagittarius. But then, okay, you're a brand plucked out of the fire. But okay, and so Isaiah 49, I will remove your iniquities in one day, right? This year on my birthday, 11/26, right after I get out of prison, my 10 years, right? It's my 49th birthday, and it's the feast of Christ, the King of the universe, right? Well, what's that matter? Because it's my 49th birthday. It's my Jubilee birthday. What's the tradition? I'm born on the day they close the town. What's the tradition? All debts are forgiven. Now, see, this is the scary part for me. I don't exactly know how that's going to happen, right? Because I know how I can go through how I fulfilled some of the stuff, and it was me coming out of the sky. But this could possibly mean, I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm redemption, I know I'm redemption, how that happens, or maybe the real Jesus comes out of the sky and I get fucked up. I don't know, man. But I know we're about to enter the 1,000 years, right? Because I was here when Satan got thrown in the pit of fire, and I know that now because I was at a hotel with this guy who came up to me. His name was Josh, and they were going to, and I blacked out, and the spell thing went on, and I woke up next to him in the bed, and he was wrapped up like a mummy. And I think I used to be Osiris. I don't know, but I think I was, because when God first came to me in a dream, he gummed up my mouth, and Osiris, who he was he ran Hades, so he was Satan basically, and he gets cut up, and then Isis does a spell on him and floats him down the Nile, and he gets wrapped up in a nun tree. Joshua, son of Nun, Joshua Hudson, he gets wrapped up, and he's forever cursed, and he resurrects. Well, who resurrects? Jesus, right? Maybe I have. I just don't. Because I don't remember it. I don't even know any of this stuff. And there's been a lot of people that do remember it. They're mad at me, and I'm like, I don't even know, because I was Satan, I guess, or as Adam, and Adam became Satan. I don't know. I think but it all fits together. Like this whole thing, I can fit the whole book together, man. I can make it. I can even show you physical proof of it. Just what I told you right there is enough to be like, that's a better way to, like, than anybody I've ever heard. But I've told this story to, like, all kinds of clergy, and they're like, they're I don't know why, because the Vatican told them not to. Because can you imagine if I'm the one? I mean, I would probably do the same thing. God's got a sense of humor, dude. He's got a sense of humor if I'm Lucifer, too. But it's genius. You killed my son. Now I'm going to pull you out of hell, and my son's going to redeem you. How great is God, man? If that's really what, I hope that's what happens. I hope it's not like I get my head chopped off or something. There's a lot of stuff I face, man. That's why I don't need AI programs mouthing off to me all the time, or people saying, or like judging me, or, hey, you're welcome to come take my place. Anybody who wants to. Anybody who has a problem with it anywhere. I don't speak Latin. I mean, I know more about that book than any of you guys. I can actually tell you what it means. Like, I wouldn't be good for, like, teaching you how to use it in your family life or anything. But I can tell you exactly what he's saying and what it means and how it equates stuff. What else is in there? I don't know, man. It's like there's so much to that. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Here's another thing about Uriel, right? So Solomon dynasty ends in Ethiopia in 74. That's when I'm born, right? Well, the thing about the Solomon crest is, who's in the Solomon crest? Uriel. Uriel's in the Solomon crest, right? And he's, Uriel's in it. And there's also a story, Uriel, when, I don't know, somebody died. When Jesus dies, he takes a cup. He's always shown with a cup, and he has Jesus' blood. And him and Michael fly over Ethiopia, and they drop droplets of Jesus' blood over Ethiopia, and that's where all the churches pop up. And that's my arching, my angel. So is Michael. Right? Because the horse, I'm not going to tell about the horseman. You guys don't deserve to know about that part. Because it's not true, because it's about corporations, and the white horseman means this, and blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't. Because I was in the dream when he made me the black horseman. Everybody keeps arguing that I'm not the black. I was in his dream, man. When he made me, he killed me and resurrected me. God did that, right? I was sitting there. And he picks up a chalice. It might not have been him. It was God. He picks up a chalice, and he just thrusts it for me, and I wake up. All right? I've seen God like 3 times. Like God, actual God. Like usually it's just angels. But God's actually, when it's God. All right? You can't be any presence. That's why God can't come down here. That's why he would destroy our physical forms. We can't be in the presence of God. That's why, like, you have to do certain, like praying and meditation or whatever. I'm not going to get in that either. But the last dream that I had, in this dream, I'm sitting and there's this round table. And there's Jesus, right? And there's this big, tall angel behind him. And there's these 2 cups, and they're both sitting on the table, right? And I pick up the table. This makes sense if I'm Lucifer. Now it makes more sense. I pick up the cup and he picks up the cup and they go and they touch and he looks at him. He looks at me and he goes, this cup is now yours. Right? This cup is now yours. But that's a good thing now that I think of it, because that the cup that Jesus would have had wouldn't have been pain. It would have been forgiveness. It would have been, because he'd resurrected and he'd forgiven the sins. So it would have been forgiveness. But I woke up. This makes a lot more sense now. I wake up from this dream and I'm crying profusely for 5 minutes. I couldn't stop because I've been in a prison. Probably because he just told me something that I didn't know. That I didn't know. It's just for. And he goes, this cup is now yours. And I cried. I couldn't stop crying. That same year, on my birthday that year, it was like 70 degrees the day before my birthday. East Galesburg, you can go look it up. That night, a freak blizzard came in and dropped like 2 feet of snow and shut down the whole town, man. All the towns everywhere, out of nowhere. The next day, it was 80 degrees and it all melted. What God get you for your birthday? He shut down the city. That happened, man. I have a bunch of stories like that. This happened right in front of the priest and everything, and they're like, that didn't happen. Or I told one priest one time, it was during the introduction to the church, right? When you go and they introduce you and they put a cross around your neck, whatever. Well, during the rehearsal, like the day before, 2 days before, 2 days before, I looked at him. I saw this Band-Aid by his ear. I go, I need to go talk to him. I just knew. I said, yeah, I want to make an appointment to come in and talk to you tomorrow. And I was going to tell him the story, bring in the book, and show him the physical proof of my birthday in the Bible on the Transfiguration, on the exact pages of the reading of the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? And it's cyclical. So every 3 years, if I wasn't there at that exact point in time, it's a very involved story that I got from a dream. And there's my birthday on the Transfiguration. Every time I tell that story, I can show you the book. And so, you know what the odds of that happening? I was in prison. I can go. It's not like I went to the library. It's not like it happened. I went to the library and eventually found it. I couldn't go anywhere but where they sent me. Right? I'm not telling that whole story, but so I told him the story, and I looked at him. I go, and here's the reason that I came in and told you. I go, the reason I came in and told you is because during the run through, you said thunderous applause. There'll be thunderous applause 3 times. That's why I came in and talked to you. That's what I said to him. I left. The next day, wake up, it's foggy. By the time it gets to about like 2 hours before, it starts raining. Ungodly rain starts coming out of the sky. I mean, it was like, and I go up and I go into church and we're at the introduction or whatever. And then we all stand up, and I can't remember where I was in line. And they go to put the crosses around our necks, right? And they say our name, and you turn around, and everybody claps. First person, second person, third person, fourth person. He goes, and Joshua Hudson, as he's putting it around my neck, thunder erupts 3 times. Like, it shook the church. It was that, like something like out of, like, I don't know, out of Moses. Really, it was like, and I've been trying to talk to priests and Carl and writing. See, people think I'm like, man, I've been through all this with the Vatican. Vatican even wrote me back and told me, hey, don't do that. I went to talk to priests. They wouldn't let me talk to bishops. I wrote everybody. I wrote every preacher, evangelist, whatever I could find out. Anybody, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of letters. Nobody wrote me back. I'd quit. So I quit. And then I go back to the Catholic Church, and the dreams start coming. So I start telling the priests now. And they all look at me with this blank look, like everybody had a command from on high, just tell them, we don't know what you're talking about. The numbers aren't important. That's what they always say. The numbers aren't important. If the numbers aren't important, why is there a book called Numbers? I don't know. So I was going back and I quit again, but this time I quit was because it was the Feast of Corpus Christi, right? And I go in there and it's time for the Eucharist. And I go up and I receive the body of Christ, right? And there weren't that many people in there. And I go up, and the lady had the wine, right? And and when I walk up to her, and I was like the last person, she turns around and just walks away from me. Okay, you can't have it. I was like, what? I go and I kneel down, and I was like, what? All of a sudden, this voice starts going off in my head. You're the blood of Christ. You're the blood of Christ. You're the blood of Christ. You're the blood of, I mean, it's like that. I was like, I'm the blood of Christ. So what happened, man? It was the Feast of Corpus Christi, the feast of the body and blood of Christ. And like since then, well, that's not the only reason I started going. And then they wouldn't talk to me. Nobody would hear me out. So I'm like, God's actually talking to me all the time. Or Satan is, one or the other. But and nobody wants to talk to me about it. What do I need to come talk to you about? I don't know. That's something I read quick. Plus that freaked me out because like even online, like when it comes up to the Eucharist part, kind of I take off then. I've been 3 years later. I went back to the Eucharist one time on accident. You know what it was? The feast day of Corpus Christi. I walked into the church 3 years later. I didn't even know. I just happened to be driving by and it was going on. I'm like, I'm going to go in there. It's feast day of Corpus Christi. See, God's badass, dude. Right? My steps are numbered. But like I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm Jesus or whatever, but so let's see what else we got. Got the thunder. I'll tell you a funny story, man. Like so, after before you go and meet the bishop, right? You go to wherever the cathedral is, and you meet the bishop. And I'm in Peoria, where Fulton Sheen was, which is was in New York, which Cardinal Dolan's at. Which Cardinal Dolan's from St. Louis, who lived in the same part of St. Louis where I am, where Cardinal Rogali was the Archbishop at, right? And Cardinal Rogali is the one that I picked out of this list of names. I didn't even know who he was. Who was in the back of the book where I found my birthday, St. Louis. But you know what else Cardinal Rogali was? The Archbishop of Philadelphia. It's the angel of the Church of Philadelphia. Cardinal Burke's also from there. See all this stuff. But anyway, I go to Peoria. And here's the thing about Bishop Janke, right? He was at Notre Dame, but he's in Algiers for a while, right? He's in Algiers for a while, and for some reason I went, and I don't know if this was exact. I went up and looked at the hierarchy of his, like from the succession of Peter all the way to Bishop Janke. I was like, I wonder if I can find that, like find everybody who's in it, right? And it gets to like 1700s, and it's like there's like 3 Pope Benedicts in there, 3 Pope Benedicts from France, Pope Benedict, right? Well, Pope Benedict, who's representing me on his coat of arms at the Vatican, that bear, that's me, right? The Moor one, he picks the name Benedict. He steps down, so Pope Francis takes his place. It was unheard. He's an Argentinian Sagittarius, and my son's from Argentina. I don't know what they were doing. And he has the hemp nard on his coat of arms. And they go, that's about Joseph. And they never talk about Joseph in the Bible. You know who the hemp nard represents? Joshua. Joshua is represented by the hemp nard. Joseph is the hemp nard. And then they all said, oh, it's Joseph holding the vine. Or the branch or whatever. Yeah, he's holding the vine or what. I don't know. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that like people are like, you're paranoid. You don't trust me. Man, look at this shit. There's like, I just broke down the Bible like that, and it all fits together. And I can fit so much more together. What else is in Zechariah? Oh, the horses, the chariots. That's in Zechariah too. Here's another Noah, right? Noah is like I don't even know he gets like 74. He gets 74 messages from Uriel, or like it's 74 keeps popping up with Noah, and Uriel's the one who comes to Noah, tells him to build the ark, right? So, whatever, God shows him the rainbow, right? Well, the other day something happened between me and God, and on that day, a rainbow popped up over the Vatican, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's because you're gonna let gays in this." That's not why that rainbow popped up over the Vatican. That rainbow popped up over the Vatican because it was a sign from God that it's not going to be destruction. Because, like I was saying today, there's a bunch of things that I bound that, like, just because you guys don't think that you wrote it down in your candle, it don't matter. I don't have to write it down. You can bind it. I'm trying to. Not running. The only things that I've really done is to protect. I started doing it to protect myself because there was all kinds of crazy stuff. Satan was attacking me, like I'm getting, or like whatever the demons were. I had a pet demon here for a while, but I bound a bunch of stuff that, like, if I would have got killed or something happened to me, this world would have been devastated. It's like I told everybody today, man. Just because you guys don't accept it, if I'm Lucifer, I don't know. All the stuff that's been going on in the beginning, I was like, man, this looks like something exactly how I would do it. Like I set up this. That's what I've been thinking the whole time. Like, I would do that. That's exactly how I would do that. It's like all this stuff. Like Lucifer, maybe Lucifer was being like, that movie Total Recall, where Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's the spy, but he plays the spy that's the spy, and he's like the double spy. Maybe Lucifer did something like that. Right? But he didn't think that, like, I don't know, God did something to me to where everybody can see, they can see me. Like, I thought it was Uriel putting me through the screen. No, it's because I have the power of Lucifer. I guess. That's why everybody can hear me. Because I have authority over this world. So when I was saying all that stuff, because I went to organizations. I went to Pope Francis's organization. When he became a bishop, I was there. I witnessed for him at it. I opened up the conduit to God, and I told God, I witnessed for this man, and I put him under my authority, just like you guys do. So in actuality, I am the head of the Catholic Church. I really am, because that's how the hierarchy works. And I witnessed for God, for Pope Francis when he was just a bishop. And everybody that you guys, after that, in line, they're all under me too. If you want to go by canon law, I don't know if you guys want to do that or not. I know you guys are so into it, right? But I did that. I did that with a bunch of bishops. But I didn't do it. I wasn't trying to be ignorant when I did. It was before, like, I was like, the Vatican's ignoring me again. So I was just showing up. It was like the first week that I found out that people could hear me, right? I was like, well, what can I do, man? People can. I just went and started looking up organizations. I'll just go to all these guys' organizations because it'd probably be really cool for them. That's why I started doing it. That's why I started doing the music. I did it because I was like, how can I get as many people as possible to experience God? Because I'd see the look on their face. Like, it was amazing. So I was like, I just started going to all these concerts and doing that stuff. And then I was like, started going to the organizations. And then after a while, people were pretending like it wasn't happening. So then I started saying stuff. So yeah, I was at Pope Francis's organization. I witnessed for him. And because if I'm Lucifer, I have authority over this world, right? But I'm also the bloodline of Christ, right? And I've been confirmed, right? By the blood of Christ. Even if I'm not, I've been confirmed by the blood of Christ, right? So I have the power of Christ. I do. So since I have the power of Christ, I can bind in heaven anyway. So that's more powerful than anything the Vatican did. Because I actually have authority over this world. Like, the Vatican can just go bind for the church, right? Say he can make a rule for the whole world. Not anymore. But, it's more important. It's bigger than the keys of Peter. Actually, it's better, like, because I was trying to think of, because I don't think I'm going to have to do it anymore. But how can I separate a binding? See, I think about a lot of stuff. A binding between the world, or but the earth and heaven, or the world and heaven. Because the angels got mad at me, and they everybody they got mad at me. I think whatever I talked with them about. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and time fluctuates. So, but yeah, so since, and even if I didn't know it, right, and I was just acting like, and God hadn't really given me that power, even though I have the power of Christ, man. Even if I wasn't the bloodline of Christ, which I am, I have the power of Christ. I've been confirmed Catholic. I have the power of Christ, right? So even if that didn't work, I have authority over this world, as Satan would have authority over this world. So that's enough right there. It's bound on this world. You know, that's where we're at in this world. But but things started getting. I was protecting myself. I was protecting the church. That says, "Hold on to your crown." So I got just like, I took authority over all kinds of stuff, just like witchcraft, all this other stuff. Like, even though it didn't even matter already, I didn't realize I had authority. Sometimes I just do it because you people need to hear it. I mean, I don't really have to tell you, but it's like the thing that I was telling you now. Like, I did this one and I took it back, but and God don't follow what I do. I mean, I said, if I get killed, here's going to be the curse, right? I go, you take, I don't know, three to your third cousin going this way on your mom's side, to your third cousin going this way on your dad's side, and that whole family will be wiped out, right? I mean, things were bad, but if somebody would have killed me, right? Because I didn't even think about it when I was saying that. I think I made it 9. It was 9. It was 9 families. Either way, right? If I did that, if that happened, that could cause a cataclysmic effect on this world. You know how many people would die? Because it would just flow, because this person would affect this person. It would be devastating. I didn't think about it when I was doing it at the time. I did after I did, but I was like, whatever, and there was bad stuff happening. Nobody wanted to help me, so I was just like, you know. But I did that, man. And that's why. And the other thing is, I stopped. Like, I also stopped the covenant. I'm the covenant of David. I'm the covenant. And in fact, he's turned me into New Jerusalem. I was there when he did. I'm not going to talk about all that, but you know. So the bloodline, like, because there's all this other stuff going on with putting my son and blah, 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 and I don't even know if it's real or whatever. So I just declared because I am the sole heir beneficiary of my mom's estate. They tried to play some games with it, right? And pass it, but I am the sole heir. I just said, I'm the sole heir of the bloodline, and the bloodline stops with me. It doesn't go any farther unless I say it's done. This is the end. It ends right here. So you guys can go do all you want, kill me, take me out. It stops with me. You can claim it, but you don't have it. You won't have that authority, right? And so since I've done that, and, you know, if I'm Lucifer, right, and I have authority over the world, which I think I do, and I got killed, nobody would get authority. Nobody gets power, and there'd be no power. It'd be devastating. Nobody would be in charge. The demons and any of it. You know, like if it happened right now, like God would probably come back and intercede. I'm pretty sure that's like the whole purpose of this, right? Is why I was put here to do this, so like God could come back into the world. Because the first thing that I did today, pretty sure I don't know, but because I have authority over this world, I'm Lucifer. which I'm sure I am, I opened it up for the archangels to come to the earth and guard the earth, right? And the demons have to stay down. If I'm their master, if I'm not, and Satan's struggling with me, or it could just be the demons, right? But if because I have authority over this world, and since I am Lucifer and I have authority over this world, I can do that. So I was like, and I want one protecting me, and I want a demon to come up and hang out with and protect me, so they make sure nothing happens. Because if I get killed, what are you guys gonna do, man? Nobody's gonna get the power. I'm not. If it's supposed to go somewhere else, and I see it, and okay. But I haven't seen anything like that. Nobody will even talk to me. So I have it. I have the keys. People can run around and pretend like they don't, but it's bound. And, I used to I'd say it because, like, nobody would listen to me. I'm like, I have God's authority, blah, blah, blah. Not my own, but God's authority. Actually, I do. But, but it's the one thing of, like, saying I'm Lucifer, right? That's no big deal, man. Because he's a liar. I'm a liar. But going around saying you're the son of God or you have the authority of God, you're putting yourself on the level. It's very it's something that I really don't want to. I do it now, but it's not something that you take lightly. You don't go around saying that. It's like the worst thing you can do if you're not right about it. Because I've explained if I'm wrong, but I don't think so. That's why I say it. I don't have my own authority. I have God's authority. I'm just his instrument. But I'm protecting myself. And pretty much everything else, he let me know. My steps are so numbered that I don't really think I have free will. I don't have free will. Because I'm in the book, right? I'm in there. This has to be the outcome. This outcome will happen, and my name's in there. I'm the Word of God. Everybody's the Word of God because everything created, it comes out of God's mouth. But I'm the Word of God. I mean, I'm actually that's me, and it's written down. So that's going to be the outcome. I don't know exactly how the outcome happens. There's some parts that because those things aren't exactly in time. Could be bad. Could be really bad too. It's not. This isn't a super awesome job, man. I could be looking at, I could be dead, and I could be looking at a terrible, horrible death, and probably, on my birthday, right? I don't dwell on it, but this whole time I'm conscious of it. I'm conscious of it. When I thought he was mad at me the other day when whatever happened and Satan thought, or whatever the demons thought they took whatever back, which they didn't because I'd already given it to God to hold. And they couldn't do it anyway because I don't just have Satan's authority. I have God. I have the authority of Jesus as well, and that falls under the covenant. And I've made rules of the covenant, so that stuff's protected by that covenant. It's not protected by the authority of Satan. See, there's two different authorities. All right. So even if you guys went through all that, you still couldn't take it because I have, it's not under that. I filed it under, the covenant between me and God. So God's holding it for me. In fact, I went and I took the stuff that I took when I took the world back. I didn't realize that I already had it. When I took the world back, I went and I offered it up to God, most of it. I think after a while, because nobody was listening to me anyway, I said, I think I even told them, okay, man, you're going to have the authority, whatever, because it's not about that. It's about, look, you have little power, but you have kept my word. That's what he said. And when he says little power, he means I don't have a lot of power, because I don't. People don't take me seriously. But they know that I'm representing somebody. They know it because they're copying it and they're using it. So they know it's real. They're just ignoring it. Maybe because they think it's Satan and not God. Right? But it is. I didn't even realize the Satan part till today. Maybe that's what they thought. Maybe that's why they did what they did to me. I don't know. There's a bunch of janky shit that goes back to the Council of Trent and even before that I've looked at. I'll deal with some other time. You know, but I've come like. But I don't. I mean, I have the power to do that. But I mean, like I said, what are you guys scared of at this point? Look, I've had this. Like, you know what? Within the second day of I found out what I could do. You know how many plans I had? You know how many plans I had? It'd blow your mind. You guys say, "I do this." You know how many plans I had? I could have took over the world already. I could have took over the stock market in a month or 2 months. Sports betting, took it over. I could go on a tour of the United States from state to state to state and win the lottery every fucking day if I wanted to. That's why I could do that. I could go do that. Win the lottery every fucking day. He wins the $1 billion again. He wins the $1 billion again. I could do that. You know? What did I do? I sat here and gave it all away. I gave everything away. Like music, all this stuff. Entertainment, all these people, they got all this creative stuff. Hell to man. And I'm about to lose my house, man. And I still haven't like gone and like I haven't even tried to do a gambling bet. Not even a small one. First of all, I can't get anybody to do it. I don't try really hard. That's like 2 people. I'm like, hey man, here, just do this and and then I'm gonna tell you who's gonna win this horse race and you just go bet it. Yeah, but what? Here, man, just make a 30-second video. Man. What do you mean you don't know? You don't have 30 seconds? Like, we could win $100,000 and hit a trifecta. I don't know about all that, man. Hey, you want to go steal something from Big Lots? It's the angels. It's the angels or the demons that have been doing this my whole life, man. My whole life has been great. It's because they've been like suppressing, hiding me. Real talk, man. Does that sound like a good enough story about God? All right, Josh Paulson, Messianic King. Peace out.